Hey Pisces, it's Empress Rose here. Welcome to your reading, general reading. Take what works, leave what doesn't. Some of this is gonna resonate with you, some of it just isn't, and that's okay. And honestly, to be expected with a general reading like this in particular. So we're gonna work on these oracle cards over here on YouTube, and then we'll move over to Vimeo for more traditional tarot spread. Okay, well, we wanted those ones right off the bat. Fascinating. Insight and trickery. So this one is similar to caching, saving something for later, but they're trying to make sure that the other one doesn't see. So here's the hole that's open, and oh, look at that, there's the opening, while covering up something else. This can also be about joking, but there's definitely something being hidden and disguised, and maybe that's you, maybe that's somebody else, but we definitely have something of value, something important being disguised, right? This one's like saving something. I'm saving something for later that they don't want this one to get, so they're disguising it. Oh, this is just a pile of leaves. What do you mean that's nothing? Why are you paying attention to that? There's the hole where I put my stuff, and see, it's empty. It's empty. This reminds me of a shell game or a magic trick, right? With the cups upside down, and like follow the cup, and yep, see, here's the empty cup. It's totally empty. Ha ha ha. So this is didn't mean to do it like an evil laugh, but because I don't. This could be you, right? This can be very appropriate. Maybe this one is like, hey, I've earned this money. It's not for you. I'm going to keep it from you because, right, this one may actually want to come and take. So there might be a sense of, needing to protect something through obfuscation or costuming. So anyway, whatever it is, somebody feels entitled to it. They feel entitled that it's theirs, and they are doing what needs to be done in order to prevent someone from taking something that is theirs. So it can also just be more in general. There may be some trickery or something going on. Yeah, there does seem to be sort of a shell game, I feel like, going on here. And then we have insight. So you will be able to figure this out. You can figure out what's going on. It may take some experimentation, though. Right, this is someone that wants this this bird, wants this shrimp right here, wasn't able to reach it, figured out that somehow every stone they put in there, the water level raised, so that's how they're getting what they want. Is they figured out a way to do it, right? And then we have this pile of rocks here that actually looks a little brain-like, so using your mind to figure out something. So either using your mind to figure out how to hide assets, or using your mind to figure out where someone else's assets are hidden that you feel entitled to, right? This is like a little bit of a dog-eat-dog situation here. Like, well, finders keepers, and you're like, okay, those are the rules, then I will obfuscate if it's finders keepers. But I mean, it's just, there's something hidden here, but I think you can figure out, how to get what you want, how to protect your assets. There's some way in which you have to use your mind. There is a sense of playfulness in both of these, which is strange to me. There is also a sense of an uncertain future, unclear dynamics going on in both of these, right? Insight can be very playful, figuring stuff out, playing around, goofing around with something, and figuring out that you can get something that you want that way. But it is about figuring something out, and figuring out either how to retain what you feel is yours, or how to uncover what you also feel you have a right to. And getting and maintaining what you want. There is some, you might be in a gray area here too. The rules might not be all that clear, so you could be taking advantage of a gray area, or someone could be taking advantage of a gray area. Like, oh, do I really report that on my taxes? Because it doesn't seem really clear, because if you define that term this way, I don't, but if you define that term that way, I do. So there could be a way of Yeah, there seems to be a gray area. But there are some ideas coming through here. Well, let's see what other... That's such a strange message, like... Woo. All right. Okay, Pisces, we've got listen. So a time of quietness for the purpose of resurrection. This is maybe a little bit of a Four of Swords card of this quietness, this rest, but deep listening. There is a sense of putting down roots, of connecting, of listening to your connections. This card often comes with listen to what's not being said. Right? Especially if we're dealing with a little bit of trickery. Someone can be like, well, I answered that honestly. Yeah, but not. You answered it technically, not honestly. Because honestly has something else to it, has a sense of exposure and vulnerability to it. Technically answering the question, right? I deal with this with my kids all the time. Like, did you do something? And they will answer very specifically. They're politicians, really. They answer very specifically and technically correctly. But you have to listen to what they're not saying. Right? Or you say, oh, have you done this? And they'll be like, well, why would I have done that? You know, I'm not the sort of person that would do that. Yeah, well, that doesn't answer the question, does it? So I'm going to take that as a yes, you did do that. So there is a sense of listening to what's not being said. Both of these have a sense of being in the roots, being among the unseen aspect of something, behind the curtain in a way. This trickery and listen have, they both involve actually an unlikely amount of roots here, of going beneath the surface in something. And I think you're getting beneath the surface of something by listening. It could be meditating, some sort of insight you gain through meditation, helps you see below sort of a surface presentation of something. The clarity you're gaining is very much through observation, listening. Yeah, I feel like this listening for what's not being said. Yeah, there's something about what's underneath it all. What's underneath this? Here's the presentation, and going below that, going what's underneath this presentation, what's not being said, what's not being expressed, what are these flowers actually rooted in, you know? Right? Because we have this treasure hidden beneath the surface. We have this insight hidden beneath the surface. And we have this presentation, pile of leaves, flowers, but what's underneath that? Where are the roots? So we're going a little bit deeper. We're digging deeper with something. Digging a little deeper here. Pure nature, something's changing. It's the very nature of the thing is to change and to grow. So, right, we have this here, this bud here. Its nature is to become a flower. The flower's nature is to give way to seed pods. The seed pod's nature is to crack open, right? So there's some sort of transition, some sort of change going on here. It's irreversible. We can't go back. You might not be able to go back to not hearing what wasn't said, because sometimes when you hear what's not said, it's so loud. Suddenly you're like, wow, that nobody ever said that. It was implied, but they didn't actually say that. So there could be a sense of something's transformed here, something's changing. Once you have this insight, once you see, you're not going to be able to unsee this. Once you see it, once you see what's going on, like. Someone can be like, oh yeah, I did trick you. And you can be like, okay, well now I see the thing that I want. And now I also see the thing that I don't want, which was to know that you would trick me like that. I didn't want to see that. So there's also, this trickery, I don't mean to like raise up any paranoia or anything. It's here, there's something you should know about this a little bit, or you have some kind of hunch. So it's not to like create paranoia in a situation where it normally exists. But also these cards are here to alert us to things like This isn't a guarantee that there's trickery, but there is a sense of, listen a little deeper here. Something is changing. Tranquil turtle. Okay. Endurance, commitment, serenity. I'm seeing some of that here, this grounded serenity. Spirit of the great mother goddess, strengthen my connection to the earth. Well, yeah, strengthening a connection to the earth for sure here. But the turtle is like, I don't know, I associate more with water. So maybe a little bit of both. We do have water and earth both present here. So groundedness, emotions, insight, maybe coming from your emotions and grounding those emotions and feelings more concretely. Got a little booklet here. All right, I like this one, Awakening, Energetic Upgrades, A New Way of Being, Integration. So lessons that you may have learned from some trickery or some sort of obfuscation here, learning those, integrating those, growing, oh yeah, insight. New way of being and integration, like having some insight that helps you grow, right? We're talking about growing, moving up to the next level. We can't go back to this other level. Trickery could also be just something having been hidden from view, like an opportunity hidden from view, or a way to do something, a way to get what you want, having been just not something that you were able to see from your vantage point before. But with this coming in, you may now be able to see an opportunity or see something that before you weren't able to see, right? This trickery, it was just obfuscated from you, but you're figuring something out. You have this insight, you're figuring something out. You're sticking with something and figuring out how to get to sort of the next level. There's something that was obfuscated from you, but now I feel like maybe it's even a part of yourself that was obfuscated from view, from your own understanding. A trick maybe that you played on yourself, but not even a trick. This trickery, I'm starting to see that maybe you are the seed that's been buried and protected and kept from being snatched up. Like there's this sense of, like, I'm now seeing you as this seed, as this valuable seed that's been kept from view. And maybe someone didn't want you to grow, or maybe someone didn't want others to see you, or didn't want to share this, some sort of trick, having kept you in this sort of stasis place. But now we're emerging and we're moving up from this. Like you were the seed that was buried here and was obfuscated, and for whatever reason, others that you were kept hidden. And now we're emerging here. And that's what I'm getting at. Like this awakening, energetic upgrades, a new way of integration starts, and maybe it's not necessarily a trick. Maybe it's just the way it was and the way it needed to be, right? Because the seed needs to be planted in darkness, obscured from view. We can't have a seed sprouting and growing and moving up to the next level if we're like, well, you can if you have a special little glass like enclosure. But if you're planting seeds out in real life and not in a lab, you can't see it. You're not allowed to see it. No one's allowed to see it. So there's a sense here where you may have been in a time of stasis, in a time hidden from view. And it wasn't necessarily, maybe it was a trick or maybe it wasn't a trick, but maybe it was on purpose. Trickery always implies intention to me. Maybe someone intended that you stay down here, but actually you've used this time to grow and develop. And now we're going up to a new level here. This pure nature, it's time now for the seed to, the seed's been hidden away long enough, and it's time now for the seed to awaken and emerge into a new life stage. Right, we have this insight, this nature gaining insight. This is like this awakening card to me of like, it's time now for a new way of being. It's time, this insight into and this growth happening right now is, it can be, you know, summarized in this awakening, a new way of being, integrating the things that you've learned and now emerging. But it has been a time for healing, right? And we get this from this stasis time. Maybe it wasn't so bad that you've been hidden away, you know, sort of maybe isolated or maybe not out in the open, right? Because once the seed emerges, what do we have to deal with? We have to deal with weather. We have to deal with hard rains. As a former farmer, you know, one of the tragedies, you know, you're planting in spring, and yet that's also where some of the hardest rains can come through and absolutely destroy your little babies, because it's just too harsh. If it came through later, sure, fine, we've got like 400 leaves here, you can, the hail can have a couple of them. But when you've got these little babies emerging, you really don't want a hard rain. So it is like a safe space to be hidden away, where you just have less things buffeting you when you're down underneath, and when you're in the time of healing, balsamic moon. So a time of rest and healing. Again, having that Four of Swords energy coming through here, where we're resting, we're healing, we're going to reemerge, but now this is a time for recalibration, and gaining insight perhaps. So prosperity lies ahead. So something really good coming forward here for you, Pisces. New moon in a Taurus. There's a sense with our new moons that we don't know where it's going. This is saying it's going someplace good. It's going someplace good. So there will be this little seedling is going to grow up and produce some seeds of its own, right? We're going to, there's a productivity here that can happen. Well, that's the whole purpose. Then we have two planets. I like this one, Lemuria and Pleiades. Lemuria, creating heaven on earth, it's happening. I like this with prosperity lies ahead. A dream coming true, prosperity, abundance, it's going to happen. So if you've, you know, not been up for promotion, or not been seeing people, or if you've been hidden away for a while, we're saying now it's time for an upgrade. So, and this is going to go very well. What you want, you can achieve. Creating heaven on earth, it's happening. Prosperity lies ahead. So this abundance lying ahead, and this next step may not be this step that brings you directly into this, but right, we have several life stages. So, so we're moving from one life stage to another life stage, and it's all in it. And we've been in a time of healing, but it's all in for our prospective future. This is a very good reading. I mean, it started off with this trickery thing, like, what? Oh my gosh. But there's like understanding and integrating that and moving up to another level that's going to bring you something that you want. And integrating these lessons that you've learned during some downtime, during some time out, during a time where you were hidden from view. In some ways, this trickery is really awesome. Like, it gives this one time to grow and time to germinate before like someone else comes and eats it, right? This seed, it's actually kind of cool. This seed gets to grow and emerge now into a new, right from this level down here, this rest and quiet growth level into, so with this pure nature and this awakening into this other realm that, you know, the seed hasn't experienced before. So this into this other realm, which is on this path to prosperity and this lush abundance. Pleiades, double mission, channeling and uplifting humanity. So this to me talks about a conversation. Channeling talks about conversations to me. There's going to be, and right, we have this uplifting here too. So a good conversation coming in that's going to help something level up. So maybe it's even a relationship that's heading to the next level. But everyone's going to be very happy with this this next level. So, and there could be a conversation coming in. Also, I like the double mission idea. I feel like this might not be just one aspect of your life that's heading into a new arena or a new realm, one that it was destined to go to, one that it was meant to go into, one that it was born to go into. So a new realm, and it might not just, with this double mission, it might not be one thing. It might be, I mean, it doesn't have to be two things, but for some of you, it could be two things, more things, going in a good direction, going towards where you want it to go. We can also be talking about a conversation that gives you a lot of insight, a lot of understanding, and really serves the purpose of helping you emerge into, right, into the next stage of something. All right, so Pisces, you're welcome to join me over on Vimeo if you'd like. If not, I'll talk to you guys again later. See ya.